Okay, now let's create that really fun, twisty kind of effect. So to create that effect, we want to create new shape layer. Just make sure that you didn't select any of the layers. Select your pen tool and click here in the center. You can even zoom in to know that you've clicked in the center. Hold Shift, so it would be a straight line and about this length. Now here in the stroke, we can set to the color which we like. We can set the stroke to solid color, and color I'm gonna use for now this one, and thickness maybe 9 will work fine. Let's call it twist. Let's add this twist effect. As you can see with this twist effect, we can add this really fun twist. This twist works from the center of our line. But what would be even cooler is to change the center to be out of this line. So basically, as I've changed the center, I move it from the center here to this point. Then we want to add a bit more twist and maybe move it this center a bit more, so we would have this really round look. And from this point, you can add as much of rotations as you like. In my case, I think this looks fine. I just want to go to shape and change this stroke from line cap to round cap, as always. And what we can do is to press S to see scale and make it smaller. And here at stroke size, I can make it a bit thicker. Maybe 15 for me works fine. Then I want to add a really cool effect. Here in contents, we can add repeater effect, which is really cool. If we will open this repeater, we can change how many copies we want to repeat, like 4 copies. And here in transition, we can change not from position X, so it would copy. By the way, you can change from Y position as well. But we can change here rotation, which is even more fun, as you can see. Let's set it to 90 degrees, so we would have this kind of perfect look. And what even cooler, that we can change the scale. But before, let's move this shape layer so it will start exactly the same time where we want it to start. So maybe about here it will appear. So let's animate it. We're using add trim pass. So let's animate this trim pass. At the beginning, as always, we'll set end to 0, about here to 100, and we will get this animation. And here before this keyframe, we will set keyframe to the start, as always, and here to 100% at the end. So as always, this last keyframe we want to set to this kind of animation. At the start, also start slowly, then faster, then slowly. And with this start animation, we want to go to graph editor, and let's set to this kind of animation as well. So it will start slower and faster at the end. And maybe spread it a bit like this. And now, as you can see, this color looks not that interesting, so let's move this twist below the circle. And let's adjust the color. Let's go to the shape. And here in stroke, we can select the stroke. Then go to stroke here. And change to this linear gradient. And click OK. Now we can just select this selection tool. Select this gradient stroke. Zoom in. And spread this gradient to the edge of this effect. So this gradient will spread across all of these lines. And then go to these colors. Here at start, we can set it to bluish color. Maybe this rich kind of blue color. Then we can add a bit more variety, like this cyan kind of color. Here in the center, we can go even with the greenish color. And maybe here, let's set it to orangish. And here at the last color, let's set it to more like a pink color. So basically, if you want to have this kind of color gradients, you can change to these colors which you can see on screen. And click OK. So now what I want to do is to select our twist shape layer and press S on keyboard to see our scale. and make it even smaller, because I want to have this kind of smaller one. And let's change this thickness a bit. And then I'll have a bigger one. So to make this animation even more professional and interesting looking, I want to animate our repeater. So let's go to Contents, Repeater, here in Transform. Let's animate this scale. It will also add more interesting look. So I've created this keyframe for 100%. And here at the start, I want to set it to 0%. So basically now, as you can see, it starts from 1 and ends just in a circle, clockwise. And now I just can select these both keyframes and press F9. And if I'm gonna select this twist and press U on keyboard, I'm gonna see only my keyframes. And now I can just spread it a bit so it would not go so fast. And what I can also add is to select our twist and hold Shift and press R. And I am gonna add a bit of rotation. Let's click to create a new keyframe. And here at the start, I want to rotate it to maybe minus 70 degrees. And let's set it to beginning. And here, let's set it to end of animation here. Go to Graph Editor, and as always, let's create this kind of shape. So it will start fast and slower at the end. Maybe let's spread it a bit. So we will have more of this rotation. And let's also add a bit of glow to these lines. So to add a bit of glow, I'm just gonna duplicate this shape layer. Once again, select this gradient stroke, click on stroke, set it to solid color, click OK, and change it to white color. Increase this stroke a bit. Opacity is set it to a really small value. So we would have this similar kind of light. I've set my opacity to 11. So we would add a bit of complexity as well. And it will resemble our overall design. So now what we can add is basically we can just duplicate this twist just by pressing Ctrl D to duplicate. And then just press S on keyboard and make a larger copy like this. And here we can just decrease the stroke overall, like here, and change overall stroke by clicking here to overall color like white. We can also press T on keyboard and make it a lot more transparent. Something like 9 should work fine. You can play around with this transparency, maybe 7. And in this way we will add even more complexity and it would look even more interesting. And now let's press 0 on numpad to see what we have. And as you can see that if we will press U on keyboard, this end animation is really starting too soon. So we can just select this start and start of trim pass and spread it a bit. So it will start a bit not so fast, and press F9 and let's go to Graph Editor and play with this animation. We can just select both of the keyframes like this. And let's make sure that it looks pretty nice. This is why it's a really good idea to work only on one twist layer. So you would not have to change so many keyframes, because it looks intimidating for beginners. But if I'm gonna delete this one, it's much easier to work with, and then duplicate and create the second copy. Okay, it looks pretty cool to me. Let's press 0 on numpad to see what we have as a result. In next video, we will finish this animation, as well as we will add glow splashing looks, which adds a bit more details in here at the end, as also this snowflake kind of spark, which will finish all this look into really cool animation like this. See you in the next video.